FaceTime, one-on-one conversations in the beautiful game. I'm Ramsey Abushahla, editor-in-chief of urbanpitch.com. It's been a minute since we've done one of these, but we had to bring it back because we have such a cool opportunity to sit down and chat with the co-owner of SolePlay. They got one of the coolest sneakers in the game. I have the pair right here. We're going to talk about it. But
yes, sir.
TJ Bennett, TJ, what's going on, man? Thank you so
much.
What's
going on, Ramsey? What's going on, man? Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm great. I am the first guest of I guess, long absence of the show, of Urban Pitch Show. So I'm glad to be a part of it, man. Thank you.
Yeah. So we do the podcast. We have, two other co-hosts, but the one-on-one, more in-depth, less of a, fun chat and more of just getting into the nitty-gritty of it all. That's a separate thing we did with FaceTime. We started it in the pandemic, and things evolved, and we had the podcast and everything, but we had to bring this one back because I was the only one available to do this conversation, and we had to get you on because I have the sneaker here. It's one of the best drops of the year in my opinion, but I want to talk about that. But first, can we talk about a little bit about you?
Yeah,
and
sure.
SolePlay, because I think the story there is pretty interesting. The concept behind SolePlay, where you get the mix of sneakers, gaming, fashion. You call it fandom of comics and everything like that. To me, the all-encompassing thing is such a interesting concept. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. So can you dive into your story with SolePlay and how it's evolved over the years and the reaction you've seen from the community?
Yeah. So I actually started with SolePlay back in 2014, 2015. Like I was saying before we hopped on the recording, as a store manager. And I won't get into the story about how I became store manager, but became a store manager, and I was taking a lot of what I learned in retail at an earlier age, and I tried to bring it to SolePlay. But when I looked around and saw some of the peers within the industry, I saw that we were doing a lot of things different. I won't say wrong, but a lot of things different. And one of the biggest things is just the purpose of having a retail operation, right? At the time, it was more so, a transactional experience. Like we had the dopest kicks, we had the dopest clothes. And this is before we even had the dopest kicks. We just had decent kicks. It was strictly on a transactional basis. But I quickly learned that, that's not what business is all about, right? Business is more so about just being rooted in purpose. And you just use whatever you are selling or your services as a means to fuel that overall purpose. So in 2022, when we opened our SolePlay Decatur location, we wanted it to be, again, just rooted in a cause, in a way that we could impact our community. And one of the things that I found out is how big gaming is, just the gaming industry as a whole, right? It's a $300+ billion industry. It's constantly evolving, right? It's never going anywhere. And when I deep dive, the gaming industry and the opportunities within it, just to see the diversity, right? How many people that look like me are actually in that space from a professional level. And it was 2 to 3%. And we're talking about a $300+ billion industry when only 2 to 3% of it is of Black and brown people, right? So that was the overall aim and goal for SolePlay Decatur. Is okay, look, how can we not even, impact it in a way and say, okay, you can get a job in it, but how can we just spread that awareness? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think a lot of people are aware. Even if you're going to school for marketing or operations or whatever the case may be, instead of going to these huge companies, the companies that you would typically go for, it's okay, well, look, why not look at these opportunities within the gaming industry? So it's okay, look, first, let's spread the awareness first, right? What better way to do it than tying it into a sneaker boutique? Because in our culture, sneakers and fashion, that's some of the things that we absolutely love. So it's let's just put everything under one roof. And we're going to draw you in with the not Nikes, with the Adidas and all the other brands. With the other brands, we're going to bring you in with those hype brands and high energy brands that you love, and streetwear apparel too. But it's now you can also see our gaming lounge also. Because we don't want to just go in with our kids talking about C++ and Python and all the tech and gaming lingo that might go over their heads. It's like, okay, look, how do we just draw them in first with the interest, and then on the back end just show them, what's possible within the gaming industry. So our SolePlay, that's where I'm sitting at now. Our SolePlay, Decatur location. The back side of me is our retail half, which again, some of the top brands in the world. And the side that I'm currently on is our gaming lounge. We have 12 gaming PCs. 5 different consoles, like 7 or 8 different TVs. Like it's crazy, right? So if you're a competitive gamer or if you're just gaming for hobby, we're the location for you. And we ultimately want to just build that community, right? Just have a place where kids can go after school, or if you're into Beyblades, or if you're into comics, or if you're into anime, it's like this is a place that you can come and feel safe and be comfortable and just mingle, with like-minded people within the community.
Yeah, when you were mentioning like going from a transactional like experience to the purpose, right? In my head, I automatically went from like, if you want to have like a shop or like a brick and mortar, right? You want it to be more than just get in and get out. You want like the whole experience of it all, right? And now that you've kind of built this community, you've built the gaming lounge, how have you seen it grow? You mentioned like you want it to be introductory at first and introducing people to, there's this whole world out there where it's like only 3% of us are being represented in this space. How have you seen that grow in the SolePlay community, where now you're getting people from all over, all types of diverse crowds coming in and playing games that might not have been doing this before 2022 when you guys opened?
For sure. It's been crazy impactful. It's so much so that, and it's, I guess the stars just aligned. So right now we have Black Girls Code, which is a nonprofit organization that teaches women about code and gaming. And they're actually here now to learn about gaming development and gaming design. And we've had, workshops since 2022 through our initial partnership with the Microsofts of the world and just using technology for sneaker design. Again, gaming development workshops. We built out, a 6-figure gaming lounge at one of the parks and recreation centers here in Atlanta. Again, just constantly pushing it forward. And that's just, on the educational side, right? And the community has gravitated towards it like you wouldn't imagine. And that's our goal. We just want to continuously do that, continuously build on it, continuously just introduce it, to more people. Because again, technology is not going anywhere. Yes, gaming, is the draw, but it's tech, at the end of the day, right? So how can we continuously just put tech in front of our kids within our communities to just prepare them on what's to come, especially now with AI coming. It's not going to stop. People might complain about the evolution of where we are, but it's coming. So I would much rather our community and people be prepared versus fighting against it and be left out.
Yeah. And then like providing that crossover space, right, is super interesting, because what we do at Urban Pitch, right, we're like cover soccer a lot, but then not the X's and O's of soccer and like the analysis of, like the ESPN type stuff where we're breaking down tactics and, the stuff that goes on the field, but we're more focused on the stuff that goes off the pitch, where the fan experience, the fashion, jerseys, sneakers, like all the stuff that's like adjacent to the game that fans of the game care about, but doesn't necessarily take place on the field, right? And that kind of crossover space between sneakers and fashion and gaming is also kind of interesting, right? Because you see people that, like, I have different interests, right? And depending on who I'm talking to, like, I don't always, like, with my wife, right? My wife, she calls me a nerd, and I embrace that a little bit. I'm a nerd.
Embrace it. We gotta embrace it,
right?
man. Yeah,
exactly.
For sure.
So, like, when I'm getting into movies or like specifically, like I was watching Lord of the Rings the other day, and she walks in and just kind of rolls her eyes at me and whatever. Like, and I get it, right? So I'm not going to talk about that with her, but with people that have that similar interest as me, then you can kind of nerd out and get into like all of the little, minute details that, like the fandom is all about, and creating a space where it's like, people are interested in sneakers and fashion, but they're also interested in gaming and tech, and they can kind of, they don't have to, box in their, or like
Correct.
code switch or whatever, like,
Yep.
like I have to do at home with my wife, but,
Yeah.
but you created such like a cool space and community. And it looks like, I haven't been to Atlanta. I'd love to come by and check out the space, but it
Doors
looks like
always open.
created such an impact where now you're doing a full sneaker collab with Adidas, and you know, I've seen like the workshops that you guys are doing. Was it the business track? Was that
Yep,
the most
business
recent
track.
one that you guys did? So like
Correct,
all
correct.
types of different stuff and experiences from, like, you know, what could have just been conceived as, you know, a sneaker shop, you know.
Yeah.
So it's cool what you guys have been able to do.
Yeah, and to your earlier point, man, it's like, you know, with soccer, right? It's not just X's and O's. You actually blended the lifestyle, the streetwear, et cetera, et cetera. And that's what it's, especially now in today's time, it's all about storytelling and just the overall journey. Yeah, soccer might be the thing that we're discussing, but it's like, what else is this soccer person that's interested in soccer, this soccer player interested in? Like, how do we make them more human? Right. And the same thing is with us. It's like, even from a gaming industry and the gaming standpoint, it's like, I always treat fashion and sneakers like Fight Club. I'm sure you've seen Fight Club. And with Fight Club, it's like you have people from so many different industries, whether you are a janitor, whether you're a cook or you're a waitress, whatever the case may be, two different walks of life. But everybody comes together for a Fight Club. And that's, you know, kind of the approach that we had with SolePlay, especially in the gaming realm, because in fashion and sneakers, you get people from all walks of life. And the same with the gaming industry, you get people from all walks of life. And now we are that hub or that Fight Club-esque place that everybody that's into it can come here and not be looked at crazy. And it feels like home too, right? And that's one of the biggest things that we try to do, which is make sure, you know, the space that we create actually feels like home, whether you're into sneakers heavy or if you're into gaming heavy. You know, it's a place that you can feel comfortable in and just express yourself. Like you said, if you want to nerd out, you know, come to a SolePlay's a spot, because that's what it is, man. Because we, again, our Beyblades nights are crazy, our anime nights are crazy. And again, everybody just feels comfortable and you can be you. And that's the beautiful thing about, you know, sneakers, fashion. And I know sneakers and fashion can be a little political and groupy, but with gaming, man, it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, we're talking about Soul Play though. We're not. It's not like a down low hush hush. Like we're
There,
in
yeah,
number one. You know, you don't talk about it, right?
yeah, you correct,
We're
correct, correct.
yeah,
There you
yeah,
go, there you go. Yeah, for sure,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw the Beyblade tournament that you guys have coming up, and dude, I didn't even know Beyblades were still around. Like I had,
man. It's
it's
crazy.
crazy. Like all this, like, you
Energy.
know,
The
yeah, yeah,
energy is nuts, man. And again, that's what we want to do with press play. You know, it's like, you know, having that intense energy, having that passion, having that love. And of course, you know, just continuously pushing whenever you get knocked down. You know, that's one of the biggest things and biggest stories behind it, right? It's like, okay, you might want to pursue a career in gaming, or you might want to pursue a career in being, you know, a professional MLS player or a soccer player, whatever the case may be, right? But through that journey, failure is just a part of it. And no matter what, you got to continuously press play. As long as you have your goal in front of you, just continuously press and play. That's the biggest thing, man. And again, it takes passion, it takes energy. And I'm sure when you've seen the Beyblades, it's a lot of passion, a lot of energy. And our anime nights, it's a lot of passion, a lot of energy. Whenever we have gaming tournaments, it's crazy. So all of those things are what's needed, you know, to continue to, you know, move forward and press play ultimately in the journey of life and the journey of your goals and success, because it always won't work out how you want it to in the moment. You know, it might not work out how you want it to in the moment, but, you know, as long as you stay steadfast, because the people that are usually successful are the ones that's never gave up.
right, right. Yeah,
Hmm.
let's talk about the press play. Predator Sala with Adidas, right?
Yep.
I have the
Yep.
box right here. I mean, everything about this sneaker, right? The packaging, right? You got the custom packaging right here, the
Yes, sir.
holographic
Yes, sir.
box. You got the red card and the yellow card in the package, right? The interchangeable tongue flaps. Like, can you talk about because some collabs, right? They have, you know, design input and all this and that, but then it comes in a standard box, doesn't have, like, you know, the details, the bells and whistles. This seems like to be like a full 360-degree like concept execution, all of that stuff. Can you talk about what went into all of this and all the details that you wanted to make sure came into the final product?
Yeah, yeah. Well, one, you know, shout out to the team. The team definitely, we all came together to just make sure, you know, we executed and were extremely intentional with box design, with sneaker design, packaging, the paper in it, in the box, like everything was all intentional. And we just want, and another shout out to Adidas, because Adidas, you know, they could have just said, okay, look, this is how things are going to be and this is what it is, but they're very receptive on our design process. You know what I'm saying? And the story that we wanted to tell and how we wanted to make sure, what we created was not only authentic to us, but authentic to the community that we're serving. And it was a great journey. And this is our first collab, of many to come. So the learning, that we learned as we went through the business track process, man, was amazing. And again, just going through the shoe, it speaks to gaming, right? With your iridescence, the glow in the dark heel, the RGB with your reds and your green laces, and we really wanted to be super intentional with it, man. And again, Adidas was fantastic in making sure that we were, and they helped us along the way. They have a great design team that took everything that we wanted the store to feel and be. And just guided us along the creation process, man, and it turned out to be a beautiful shoe, on a shoe that's not really seen up until now, right, as a lifestyle sneaker. The Predator Sala, of course, has been a cleat, and some people can pull it off, but I think the way that we brought it to a very complex and stylish and sleek look, I think we knocked it out of the park, man, and the community is gravitating towards it well.
Yeah, and that was gonna be my next question, was the model itself, the Predator Sala, right, which is like an indoor version of the Predator, iconic like football boot from one of the most iconic, probably maybe arguably the most, right?
Yeah.
But like y'all could have done the Samba or a Special, which no disrespect, those are like fantastic.
Yeah.
I have a couple of pairs of myself, but what made you choose the Sala, the Predator Sala, and was this something that you realized, or did they give you a bunch of options? Like, how did that come about?
Yeah, so they did give us a bunch of options, and the reason that we didn't choose the Especial or the Samba was the reason that you thought we should have did it, if that makes sense, because most people would have thought that, they'd be like, look, it's the Predator Sala, it's already hot, the kids are already wearing it. So with us, we've learned that for our journey, right, to get to where we've gotten as a brand, ignoring conventional wisdom has did far more for us than staying in the safe zone with the Samba or the Special, because that was one of the Samba had one of the most iconic comebacks in sneaker, I think, in sneaker history. So it's like, okay, we can do that, play it safe, or do we want to go to the Predator Sala, which has not been seen much at all, and just create something that's our own. And that was the decision behind choosing the Predator Sala, man, because again, up until now, we have not seen it really done or focused on how it's focused on now, and I'm glad we made that decision to choose the silhouette, because again, just differentiation is what's pushed us this far. So we're going to continue to do that, and it's a great shoe, right? And it challenged us for our first collab. It's like, okay, again, we can go the easy route with the Samba, or we can just create something entirely new with an entirely different feel, different look, different story behind it, and just challenge ourselves to see if we can create something that the consumer wants. And we did that. And and I'm glad we made that decision. And it was the right decision. And again, just shout out to the team for helping bring it all to life.
Yeah. And I think that kind of speaks into the gaming, like into gaming as well, right? Because there's some like you could take the easy route, right, where it's like the conventional way, and a lot of people will do that, and that they'll beat the game by doing things the easy way. Or there's people that like, no man, I got to do it my way, I got to do the hard way, I got to do all the side quests, I got to do all this and that, right? And sometimes when the layup is there, sometimes you got to go for the dump.
Yeah, let me put it on expert mode, right? Let me put it on expert mode instead of amateur or novice, when you can win in a couple of hours, or you can go expert where you might have to think a little bit more, okay, on exactly how you're going to win and how you're going to beat the game. So that was a great analogy.
Yeah. And then obviously, soccer, it's a soccer inspired shoe, and World Cup is taking over. I know Atlanta has been such a thriving community in the soccer space. With the release, I saw you had our friends at Kit Boys there. Saku is a good friend of ours.
Homie.
And we've gone way back when he started Kit Boys, in like 2018, around that time. But the release and everything, just felt so right. Can you talk about embracing the soccer community and What
Yeah.
your experience has been like in Atlanta with that.
Yeah. No, just the soccer community in Atlanta is extremely strong. And when you think about lifestyle of soccer in Atlanta, of course you got to think about Kid Boys, man. So it only made sense for us to collaborate and partner with Kid Boys to bring this moment to life the right way, right? And of course, shout out to Soccer in the Streets, which is a nonprofit organization based here that just teaches kids, about soccer at different MARTA stations across the city. But then, it just shows how cultured Atlanta is. It shows how powerful Atlanta is when it comes to sports, right? Of course, Atlanta United is an amazing team. We won the MLS championship, a few years ago. So, it just shows the power of Atlanta. And that's why this is, one of my favorite cities. I ain't gonna say favorite. This is my favorite city in the world, man. Especially again for Black and brown people to thrive and move forward. And just the culture, it's unbeatable in my opinion. You have that Southern charm, but you still get that city feel like a New York or something like that. But again, just Atlanta is an amazing city to be a part of, and the culture here, and again, just soccer, just and the energy that it shows is just, the city is unbeatable in my opinion.
Yeah, and you've seen like U.S. Soccer embrace that too. Their headquarters are in Atlanta.
Yep.
You mentioned Atlanta United, just year in and year out having some of the best attendance numbers in
Mm-hmm.
the West. I think they're if not number one, number two every single year. Even when the team is struggling a little bit, it doesn't matter if the team's doing
Energy.
well or not.
Energy
It's
is
always there.
crazy. The energy is nuts, man. Whenever you go to an Atlanta United game, it's like, oh my God. And again, I've been to, the Falcons, the Hawks. Like I've been to every, sports team here, but Atlanta United and soccer and the fans, man, it's crazy. The stadium is rocking left to right, man. And again, I love it. It's something. It's a feeling that I don't think you can get anywhere else outside of Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they even like the Atlanta celebrities embrace the team. They do like the opening spike,
Yep. Yep.
hammer,
Yep.
and seeing people like Big Boy or Waka Flocka for
Mm-hmm.
him, or
Mm-hmm.
I think Gucci Mane was there one time
Gucci.
as
Yep.
well. But
Yep.
yeah,
New
so it's
face. Like, yeah.
yeah, it's like a crazy amount of like A-list talent
Yeah.
that's showing up and then doing this stuff.
And again, the good thing about Atlanta is these are A-list talents, right? But they don't have that superiority-esque complex about it. It's like we can see them in the street and it's like, yo, what's up, Gucci? How you doing? And it's all love, right? And that's one of the good things about Atlanta, man. And again, not to knock any other city, but it's all paparazzi and bodyguards and things like that. You can be at a restaurant here and T.I. is sitting 2 seats away from you and it's like, what's up, Tip? How you doing? And you're like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? So again, it just speaks to the diversity and love that Atlanta has, man, and it's great.
Yeah, we're in LA, so it's not quite the same.
No, man. You gotta have 6 bodyguards wherever you go.
Right.
And the
All types of
paparazzi.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's
Every
Hollywood.
once in a while.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Hollywood though. That's what you go there for. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I get it.
yeah,
I get it.
yeah. Occasionally, you'll run into somebody at the grocery store or
Yeah.
on a run. That's cool, but it's definitely like you feel the degrees of separation between
Hmm.
you and them.
Yep.
It's meant to be like that.
And you know what's crazy? I was on just doom scrolling. I hate to say I was doom. I was doom scrolling on Instagram one day, and I think it was Sean. I believe he was in L.A. and it was Sean Penn, and he was, I guess, getting out of his car and about to go into his hotel or whatever. And he was just like bulldozing everybody. No signature, no hey, no smile, just stone face. Like, and I'm like, I'm glad Atlanta isn't that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
he was still in character. He was still in
Yeah, that
character.
right. From what's the name of the movie he was in with Leonardo
One battle after
DiCaprio?
another.
Yes, it seemed like
Yeah.
he was still in that, which is a great movie, by the way. He did an amazing
Yeah,
job.
yeah.
It's like he was still in character from that movie, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, he's a big time method actor. He's
Yeah.
on that lockjaw,
There you go. Yes, sir.
Cool, yeah, but I mean, talk about getting a sneaker collab, right? Because this is something that, I mean, anybody in pretty much anywhere, that's something that they want, right? And I've been, I was into shoes for a long time. I was in middle school, like on in the computer lab, like on different sneaker blogs, like looking at release dates and things. And then my interest in sneakers has gone in and out, right? And recently, I think you've seen a focus less on the quantity of releases versus the quality of releases, right? And you see like, you know, very specific creative stuff like this. Kids of Immigrants did a really cool collaboration recently with a brand not to be named, but like I think that stuff has really resonated more than, you know, let's just bring back another retro model of this sneaker that did numbers for us, and it's always going to do numbers. But to me, the more interesting stuff is like the like more innovative things where you see like the Predator Sala with different, you know, customizable tongues or different laces, and you get the all the different details. So can you talk about what you wanted the overall response to the sneaker to be versus what it actually has been since the debut?
No, and it's crazy to say, you know, I wanted the response to be either you hate the shoe or you love the shoe, right? Like I didn't want it to be like, oh, it's a cool shoe, you know, whatever. Like I wanted to be that tension, right? Because when it's tension, at least it creates conversation. But surprisingly enough, like I haven't seen much hate. Like it's been, you know, I looked at, because of course I'm like super OCD. Like I'm checking every post and seeing the comments, seeing what people say, and I've read maybe one trash emoji, if that, you know. So the response has been amazing and great. And you mentioned, you know, kids of immigrants, right? And one thing that they did just in their name, kids of immigrants, right? It goes back to that purpose, right? Purpose and storytelling. Yes, it's a sneaker, but how does the story and the purpose of the sneaker transcend it being just this physical item, but also has that emotional connection, right? And with kids of immigrants, they do that extremely well. Because again, you know, with this administration and immigrant, you know, that's a topic so it's like, you know, how can we portray and push, you know, that purpose through a shoe? And that's the thing that we wanted to do. And again, just being extremely purposeful within the community about the opportunities, again, just in the gaming space. Like how can we just push our entire community and culture forward in the gaming space and the technology space? Because one, we know that that industry is not going anywhere and it's only going to continue to grow. So instead of being consumers of it, how can we actually spread an awareness and be in it? And that's what we wanted the shoe to represent. And again, even in that space, it's not just, hey, I'm going to apply for this job, I'm gonna have the job now, I'm making six figure. It's the idea of always moving forward, even when you get one door slammed in your face. And that was what we wanted to communicate with the shoe. And I believe we did extremely well with that.
Yeah. I mean, press play, like it's in the
press play. Yeah. And then, you know, just the rollout that we had, the narration that we had just talks about, you know, even in internal conflict, right? It might not even be an external conflict or external problem that's holding you back. It might be internal. You might say, hey, look, it's only 2 to 3% within this industry or whatever the case may be. Why would I be, you know, add to that percentage, you know, that is within it? So it's like fighting that, you know what I mean? Just fighting that and continuously pushing forward. And again, in a stylish, cool way. And that's what, you know, again, we were able to create with the Predator Sala press play minute. Again, it's been amazing. We're still on the high, you know, especially now with World Cup. So we got 30 something more days. I wouldn't say 30 days, but we got a good amount of days left in World Cup. So to be able to consistently create that energy, because right across the street is Decatur Watch Fest. We were there the first night when Big Boy came out to perform. That was amazing. We gifted him the shoe. He loved it. So it's like, just keeping that intensity up through the entirety of World Cup and beyond, honestly, because it's a story that can resonate with people that are not even, you know, into soccer or in the gaming space or tech or whatever the case may be. It's a story that resonates with everyone that's, you know, failed and had to get back up and continue to push forward.
Yeah. Listen, TJ, you know, this has been an incredible conversation, and I know you got a million things going on, and you know, it took a minute for us to finally get connected, but
it's all good.
I'm glad we were able to get this, and I don't want to hold you any longer. But before we go, who's your pick to win the World Cup?
USA, baby. Come on. We're going with USA.
Come on. Hey, they got me hopeful, man. For the first time, like, since I can remember, I'm hopeful about the U.S. So
yes, sir.
We're looking good.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. the draw is looking nice into the
Mm-hmm.
knockout rounds. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully some things line up and
We just need the stars to align just a bit for us, man. We'll be good.
yeah, and that's what you get when you played at home. All the you get some home cooking,
Mm-hmm.
the stars align, and it's happened in the past, and I feel like that's gonna happen. So
Yes, sir.
I'm optimistic for
There you
the
go.
squad. Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
All right, TJ, thank you so much for joining us. This has been another episode of FaceTime. Thank you for tuning in. Keep it
Thank
tapped
you,
in. We
Randy.
got a lot of upcoming stuff for the World Cup. But until then, we'll see you next time.
All right, man. Peace. Thank you.
Thank you, man.